Why don't we get into some Bravo tea, y'all? Andy Cohen. I don't know if he calls the paparazzi on himself or if the network calls the paparazzi on him, but he was filmed by TMZ coming out of his offices, and they asked him a bunch of questions about Kenya Moore. I don't know if y'all saw, but she finally uploaded those videos to her YouTube channel about, like what was going on behind the scenes, her beef with Britt Eady, being invited to the reunion, then uninvited. So when Andy was caught outside of his offices, he answered a couple of those questions. So take a look at the video and then we'll talk about it on the flip side, okay? Let me know what you think in the live chat, or if you're part of my playback posse, let me know in the comment section and we'll go back and forth on those.
Andy, we have to ask you, now listen, Kenya says she was invited and then uninvited to the reunion. How true is this?
I have to watch her whole, I haven't watched her post yet.
Okay.
But
is that true? Is that part true?
we'll talk about it.
Oh my goodness, Andy. Well, okay, well, is she coming back? Fans want her back, so what's the deal?
I love her. I love her. Listen, there is so much more of this season left, and it is so good. Phaedra comes on in like 5 weeks. It is a jam, and you are going to love it. And so right now, I'm kind of focusing on the rest of the season.
So not Kenya?
What?
So you're not focusing on Kenya, but she's coming back?
I'm focusing on the show.
Okay, so when you watch that confessional, let us know.
Okay.
Well, it looks like you were trying to say that she was invited and then uninvited.
That's what it looks like I was trying to say?
Kinda. You were like,
I don't know.
So there you go. What do y'all think about Andy Cohen's, sidewalk interview about what's going on? So he kind of like skirted past some of those questions about Kenya and her future on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. He said that he loves her, right? And, he's not ready to comment on whether or not Bravo invited and disinvited her. However, kind of like Shayna said, it feels like just the reaction kind of confirmed that Kenya was telling the truth about that. So I do get that vibe. I also do agree with you, Malen, that Andy is very fake. He's very media trained, right? As Ali's also pointing out, he's very, very media trained. So I will be honest, I think that Kenya was telling the truth, but Andy was not expecting that question. And he's not yet ready to answer it. I do get the vibe, though, that this is not going to be the last time we see Kenya on Bravo. They are seeing the internet, the audience's reaction to it all, and how many people are fighting for Kenya to come back and feeling as though they were unfair towards Kenya by not protecting her when they had the chance instead of allowing things to get to this ugly place and whatnot. So I don't know. How do you guys feel? How would you feel about like a Kenya cameo? Remember, sometimes whenever there's something big enough going on in the Bravo universe, they do allow for the housewives to have these like one-on-one sit down conversations with Andy Cohen. And I kind of wonder if we're going to be seeing something like that, right? For a little special of sorts. I always go and think about Luann getting married and divorced, going to, traveling, going to prison and whatnot. Like, do you think like something like that could happen for Kenya potentially to give her the opportunity to speak her piece? Because when she uploaded her confessional sharing her side on YouTube, it gathered like 300,000 views in the span of 2 days. The views are there. People want to hear what she has to say. And I think that Bravo needs to cash in on this, and open the door for Kenya coming back. A lot of people do not want Brett back next season, independent or irrespective of her relationship with Kenya. And so, if they get rid of her and bring back Kenya, this wouldn't be the first time they've done that, rehired people. I'd be cool with it. Would you? Tadisha says Kenya was absolutely wrong, no doubt. However, I feel like she should be invited to speak her piece. Yup. About why she decided to do that. Exactly. Right? She was wrong. However, let her share her side of the story on the way out at the very least. Oh, not Ali, you got to speak with Obama in person and you got to ask him if he was going to run for president before he ever ran. This is iconic. Can you get some more deets on this? Sheena says, we need that reporter at these reunions. She was on his neck. Absolutely. She did not let go. I love the way that she circled back to that question about whether or not, the uninvited and disinvited Kenya from the reunion, right? Messi, shaking in his boots. Milan says they'll have Phaedra back, but not Kenya, who made a great accusation. They're always firing then rehiring people. So do not worry, you guys. I think that Kenya will be back, especially considering the dislike for Britt Eady and the fact that the majority of the viewers feel like although Kenya was wrong, she should have been protected before things even went to such an ugly place. Wow, Annabelle, let me zoom in here. Let me see this beautiful wedding photo. Good morning, Annabelle. Nice to see you. What a beautiful wedding photo. I love it. Congrats on a beautiful wedding. Super cool. Nice to see you here too. Thank you so much for joining us on the morning report. Tori, hey Tori. Stephanie says Phaedra threatened Kenya with a taser multiple times on the show. Exactly. And speaking of Kenya and threats on the show, don't forget Kenya's made her own threats on the show. Remember when she was cleaning out her closet and she was talking about how she has like these firearms and whatnot? Like, you know, she wasn't fired then, just like Phaedra wasn't fired then and whatnot. Why now? Why all of a sudden? Is this something that they really, you know, feel like was all that terrible, or is it a performative thing? Very curious. Good morning, JJ. It's so nice to see all of y'all trickling in. Thank y'all so much for joining us for the morning report. If this is your first time here, we go live every single weekday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about the day's hottest stories. If you find yourself liking it, even a little bit, at any point, don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up, please. Ashley says, I only know the housewives from you, Grace, but I'm always here for the tea. Love it. Thanks for being here, Ashley, with your adorable puppy. Ali says, the Obamas are from Hyde Park area of Chicago. They used to be out on the streets back in the day. Oh, how cool is that? That is so cool to be able to run into these kinds of people and to know people and see people before they really hit it big. Love that. Good morning, Jasmine. Good morning, Cynthia. Good morning, everybody joining us. So I guess, guys, we've got to watch this space and see what happens with the evolution of Kenya. I do think that they want to go ahead and do something because they see that they kind of overreacted when it came to her.